Hey guys, right here. I guess uh, I guess I'm overdue to talk about the what I kind of promised I was going to talk about in my last video, which was the not the one with Big Bump and the one before it, where I was talking about the Carnival Evil cruise. Carnival Evil. That's Carnival cruise. Carnival Evil. It's a play on words. The synchronicities during the trip were kind of out of control. Maybe not out of control because that would imply that it was just like every single moment, which it really wasn't. But it was enough to grab my attention. And I didn't see any red balloons or anything like that, except for the, well, actually I did, that's a lie. Probably the most bizarre synchronicity was the gas stop that we did in the middle of nowhere on the way to New Orleans. I mean, this gas station was just, we had to go out of our way to get to it because we had to use the bathroom real bad, and set the GPS to just find the nearest gas station. It just took us to the middle of nowhere. From what I could tell, it was like countryside, kind of black countryside, predominantly the population was black. And because we only know that because when we got there, that's what you can just tell. Just from the people. White boy in sight, let's put it that way. Which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. We don't have a problem with that. But it was just, you want to get the hell out of there as soon as you can, basically. And that's just the way things go around here. We didn't get accosted or mistreated or anything. But the gas station itself was a little run down, especially the bathrooms. They smelt bad. There's just that particular odor when everything's wet. And I don't know if y'all ever been in a really bad gas station bathroom, but I can only describe it as wet, smelling. Everything smells wet, and not in a good way. But anyway, the community post I did right before we got on the cruise was the Chinese spy balloon kind of crude drawing with the kind of Chinese dialect, the way a Chinese person or an Asian person might say the word balloon, which Asians typically can't pronounce R's correctly, or can't pronounce L's correctly, rather. They pronounce them like R's, so instead of balloon, it's baroon. It's kind of funny. I got a little yak out of it. Got my yaks in. But the strangeness of it, just the very fact that there was a spy balloon, and I'll put a picture up right now to kind of showcase that, was bizarre. There's a synchronicity right there, right off the bat, before we even got on the boat. Another one was the number 33 showing up more than once. Right in the corner of my eye, we're sitting on the deck, on the, I think it's the 10th level deck, on top, kind of where you hang out and the DJ's playing his music and whatnot. There's a dude kind of caught my eye to the side wearing number 33 jersey. I don't remember the color. I don't know what player it was, or even if it was football or whatever. But the 33 shows up, and while this is going on, we're watching a movie on the big screen. It was a Maverick, Top Gun Maverick, or Maverick Top Gun, whatever it is. The second Top Gun movie with Tom Cruise, that Joker, and some other dudes that I don't even know who the hell these people are. But the movie was okay. I mean, I wouldn't watch it again. But of course, the freakiness starts in this movie because you know how these movies go. There's a big scene towards the end of the movie where they're dogfighting against some Russian, I think it was like 5th generation jet pilots, like really talented guys, like the best of the best, versus Tom Cruise and some other assholes having a dogfight. And I'm trying not to spoil the movie in case you want to see it. It's not worth it, in my opinion. I don't like these kind of movies. I don't really like movies, period. But towards the end, they're having dogfights with They're having a dogfight with these high-skilled pilots, jet pilots, and they're out of missiles. And the camera zooms in on their machine gun turret count, their ammo count, and of course it stops on the 33. Shortly after, I noticed the 33 off to the side. 33 off to the side with the jersey and the 33 ammo count, and it freezes right on, not freezes, but it sits on the ammo count. It stops at 33. So that was very blatant. You know how these directors, these creeps do things. They put the 33 everywhere. I'm pretty sure there's magenta in there that I didn't bother looking at or notice, or emerald green, or whatever bullshit they like to put in their fucking movies. Synchronicities don't stop there. Just real quick, I wanted to mention the Hanging Man symbology in the video game Guilty Gear Strive, which is a fighting game. I don't play fighting games, but I do kind of follow them. Guilty Gear Strive is not that new. There's a character named Jekko in it, and one of her victory poses is the Hanging Man, where she kind of hangs upside down and puts her arms behind her head. And I don't know to what degree it was done on purpose with the Hanged Man tarot card in mind, but it's damn near identical. I just wanted to briefly mention that before I begin talking about this subject, because I did make a community post about it and it was interesting. There's a character named Hangman, and you already know how I feel about the tarot card Hangman, Hanging Man, whatever you want to call it. But there's a Joker, there's a dude, one of the pilots, jet pilots, named Hangman. And that's his little code name. I forgot what their code names are called. They're not called code names. They're called something else. But his code name was Hangman. I don't know his real name. I don't know the actor's real name. I don't really give a fuck. So, doesn't stop there. There's another pilot named Bob. B-O-B, Bob. Just Bob. It's a palindrome. As above, so below. You know how that goes. And it's like, as soon as I heard the name Bob, I was like, let me pay attention to this. Hangman and Bob, okay? So I'm paying attention. Those are my cues to pay attention. Bob was a giveaway. I'll talk about that name some other time, because it's appeared in more than one movie recently, where it was as above, so below symbology. But anyway, they're horsing around. The guy's name Bob. His code name is Bob. It's kind of a joke because the dude's name is Bob, and he's kind of a matter of fact white dude. He just does his job, and he's good at his job. He's not really the kind to like shitpost or horse around. And the guy was like, they're trying to think of a name for Bob. They're kind of horsing around while flying, and they're like gabbing between each other, making fun of each other. And Hangman says, Hangman's an asshole, by the way. He's an asshole, pseudo protagonist / antagonist kind of character. The guy who's just a dickhead. And he's like, hey Bob, I got a name for you. And he's like, what can we tell people Bob stands for? And so y'all know how I talked about the Hanging Man, and when I was doing the research on that, where the peace symbol was the Hanging Man, but the circle around the peace symbol represented the womb, or a mother's womb, the upside down child. When the child comes out of the mother's, private parts, comes out of her vagina, the baby's usually born head first. So the child is technically upside down. If the woman were to stand straight up, the baby would be upside down. That's the Hanging Man, in my opinion, and the peace symbol. I've been over this in another video. Go check out that video. I'll put a link in a description. But as they're horsing around, the guy Hangman, he makes a joke. We can say, it's like, hey Bob, I know what we can tell people. Baby on board. So there's your womb symbology. There's your child symbology. Your Hanging Man. Your peace symbol. It's all there. It's all there. Of course it is, right? Because that's just the way it goes. As I'm going 33 miles an hour. Another movie we saw, kinda. I barely paid attention to this movie. Jurassic World is another movie. It was another day. It was like 9 p.m. showing Jurassic World on the big screen. And Jeff Goldblum, the other jokers from Jurassic Park, these boomers who just keep showing up in movies. They can't let it go. I'm going to get into that in a minute. But first I want to talk about And I couldn't find the clip. I'm not watching the movie again. I barely paid attention. My wife and I both walked out of it. When I say walked out, we just left the deck and went to our rooms. Because the movie was so fucking boring. I do not recommend that movie. It's a boring piece of shit. And not even a fun piece of shit. It was just boring. Like, nothing was happening. Just a bunch of boomers jerking themselves off. But at one point, I barely caught it. At some point, they made a joke about the doomsday clock, which I went over that. And they said, I don't even remember. Like I said, I wasn't paying that much of attention, but they offhandedly mentioned 7 minutes to midnight and the doomsday clock, but I don't remember the context. But that was just another synchronicity. I don't want to watch the movie again. I'm not going to. This is just the crap I notice. And of course, I talked about the Charlie Brown thing. We're sitting in our room just kind of relaxing, and Charlie Brown's on the TV. Poor quality, by the way. Looks like just really kind of a blurry mess, but you can tell what's going on. The audio's okay. Cute little movie. If you like cute movies, if you got children, go watch Peanuts. It's all right. Charlie Brown. The recent one, I'll put a picture up just so you know what I'm talking about. And at the very, very end, kites is a big thing in Charlie Brown and Peanuts, where Charlie Brown's always getting his kite stuck in a tree. Telling what that means, but I can already tell you the kite represents a cross, the cross that Jesus was on, that St. Peter was on, whoever. And at the very end, he's teaching the kid how to fly a kite, and the kid's all like amazed, like, oh, wow, you really know all about kites. Charlie Brown has a low self-esteem, so he's like, no, not really, blah, blah, blah. He's being being a sad boy. As the movie's ending, the movie's about to end, so he teaches a kid how to do a kite. The kid gets it on the first go. Charlie Brown's like, oh my God, it worked. And they end up losing the kite though, so Charlie Brown chases it. Let's this up. Charlie Brown chases the kite, and it leads him to the little red-haired girl who he has a crush on. She's about to leave to go on a summer vacation or something, or some kind of camp. She's getting on a bus, and it leads him to the red-headed girl. They have a little chat, and then everyone's all excited, right? Because they're following Charlie Brown. Oh, Charlie Brown, he finally built up the courage to talk to the little red-headed girl, whatever. And for no explicit reason, his little sister draws Charlie Brown's face on a red balloon. And the red balloon flies off, and the credits roll. So there's your synchronicity with red balloons. It just happens. It's just the way my life is right now. Maybe forever. Is this forever? Is this just going to be my life from now on? Whatever. It's fun to witness. Another synchronicity we had when we got to Cozumel, which is in Mexico, the little tourist location that the cruise dropped us off at. We get to go out for a few hours and kind of explore the area. They got a lot of tourist areas. We didn't go on any tours because the last time we went on tours, it was exhausting and hot, and it's like I don't want to do that again. My fat ass isn't built for that. I mean, it was fun. It was kind of nice seeing the little miniature pyramids and stuff. That was neat. This was way before I really started getting into synchronicities and symbology and stuff. So I guess it would have been more interesting if we actually got on one again. But we'll see. But anyway, there's a song called Happy, which my daughter and I like to laugh at because there's a version of that song Happy. I don't know if you ever heard Happy. I forget who it's by, but it's like clap along, a doot, 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 however it goes. I'll put a link in the description. You can check it out. Maybe I'll put a sample right before. Yeah, I'll put a sample. We'll do that.
Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth.
And we get there, and there's a little junior high band playing off to the side, and taking donations. They got a basket out. You can put money in it, and they're really good. I liked them a lot. They sounded really good. There was a clarinet player who really sounded good. I was like, holy shit, that little girl's talented. They're young kids, but they were playing that song, and I was like, my wife and I and my daughter are like, oh my God, they're playing that song that y'all listen to all the damn time. And it was just too funny. So And a couple of blocks down, we go walking down again, and I could hear it again. I was like, what the hell is that? And it was playing on a speaker like a few blocks down, and no one else really noticed it but me. But just another silly synchronicity. Oh yeah, one more quick thing to mention. Uncanny Deduction might like this. There was a machine at the arcade that it was like a duck game where you could win ducks, like little, squeaker ducks, like you put in the bathtub. And it was a guaranteed win. For every dollar you spent, basically you got a duck. But it was like a little grab game, a little claw game. And I managed to win a little dragon duck that my daughter really wanted. We were aiming for that one specifically. So we spent about $4 just trying to get the dragon duck. I ended up getting the dragon duck for her and some other ducks. There's even, I'll put a picture of it. There's an emerald green duck and a magenta duck that what I also got, which I hadn't really noticed until now. I just remember the dragon duck. I'll put a picture up right now. But there is a magenta duck and an emerald green duck that I had won from that machine, so that was interesting. And I guess there's one more thing I can mention real quick. It's not really my synchronicity, it's more my wife's synchronicity. She has her iPhone set to flip through her gallery to switch to wallpapers when she unlocks her phone, and while we're on the cruise, it just so happens to flip to a picture that we took prior, the last cruise we did back in 2020. That's just ain't that big of a deal, really. Just a minor, just a admirable mention, let's say it that way. And another synchronicity I had involving the, I don't know if you want to call this balloon symbology, but it's more about the Chinese moon synchronicity that I had a few months back. While on the cruise, I was playing Final Fantasy IV. I've been replaying Final Fantasy IV because I haven't played that game in like probably well over 20 years, 25 years. I was playing this ROM hack called Ultima, Final Fantasy IV Ultima, which is like a revised kind of version of the game. Extra equipment, weapons, script improvements. And then I stumbled on this. We're busy researching the Red Moon. I had completely forgot about this. In particular, that the game revolved around going to the moon at some point. And it's just something I stumbled on while on the cruise. Some of y'all might not consider this a synchronicity, but I do. Only because the red moon symbolism keeps popping up. The red balloon being the main thing. That's what I think it kind of points to. The China with this artificial satellite that I covered a few months ago, which I haven't found anything extra on that. I think it's a big giant nothing burger, like I said in that video, but I'll put a link in the description pointing back to that. All right, testing. All right, one more thing I want to talk about, guys, and this doesn't necessarily have anything to do with synchronicities, but it is a realization I had while watching these movies, these sequels, quote unquote, which is the Maverick, Top Gun 2, whatever you want to call it, with Tom Cruise and Jurassic World. With Jeff Goldblum was in it. He wasn't the star of it, but he may as well be, because he's associated with the other cast from Jurassic World, that they're in it. And my main point about bringing this up is that creatures like Jeff Goldblum and Tom Cruise, they can't just step aside for new blood. They have to inject themselves. They have to have all the attention, especially Tom Cruise. I think Tom Cruise is the worst culprit of this, because, man, I really hate to. Okay, there's going to be spoilers, guys, for Maverick. If you want to watch Maverick, just turn off the video. Or if you don't give a shit, you're more than welcome to listen. It's not that great. I know a lot of people were like coming in their pants over it, like basically leaving jizz stains in their underwear over this damn movie. I don't see what the hype was about. It was a fun movie, like I said. the dogfighting was really good and everything else was fucking trash. It was boring, but it was exciting. The parts that were action focused, it was like, oh, something's happening. Like, that was the only thing that kind of tickled my brain a little bit. And I hate to say it, but the story wasn't good. It was really dumb. And I'm not a Top Gun fan, so maybe that had a lot to do with it. I'm not a Tom Cruise fan. I don't give a crap about these characters that may have had a lot to do with it. But the thing about Maverick is that it may as well have been called Tom Cruise Does Everything. I'm not saying Maverick does everything. I'm saying Tom Cruise does everything. He can do everything. He is Jesus Christ incarnate in this movie. He is flawless. Like, he is just the baddest motherfucker on the planet. He does everything. The whole premise of the movie is him teaching the younger generation how to be badass pilots like him. But, like I said, spoilers, in the end, he ends up doing everything anyway. And it's not about stepping aside and letting young blood kind of take over the reins, right? And to me, it was like the perfect symbology for what's going on right now, the perfect metaphor for what's happening right now. Is these boomers aren't stepping aside. They're not giving up their positions. You still have 70-year-old up to 80-year-old people still doing politics when they should really just step aside. And y'all know politics is fake, right? But I think you're getting my point. It's like they won't step aside to let the young blood take over. And it's like, it was so stupid. Like, oh man, towards the end of Maverick, when he ends up, I can't remember if he crashes jet plane or he got shot down. I think he may have crashed. And he crashed in enemy territory. He has to bail them out. There's like a whole mission they're training for. He has to bail them out towards the end because one of the pilots dies and he has to take over. And lo and behold, Tom Cruise is the best pilot ever, so he saves the day and he does everything for them. Y'all just need to see the movie because it's so stupid. He crashes in enemy territory where he gets shot down, and suddenly he's like super soldier. He knows exactly where to go. So Maverick ends up in enemy territory. He's got his little buddy with him, and he has his little buddy with him, and they end up hijacking an American F-16. I assume it's American, but there's an F-16 on their territory, just hanging out, fully fueled, fully stocked ammo, ready to go. So just coincidentally, right? Because the movie can't happen unless there just happens to be an old school F-16 just sitting there. And of course, Maverick knows exactly how to get it going, how to get it off, and he ends up taking off in a very short runway. And of course, he can do that too. And while all this is happening, they get intercepted by the fifth generation, Russian jet pilots. They intercept him. They're chasing him. He has to have a dogfight with five elite jet fighters. And of course, he takes them all out except one. And through shenanigans, because he's just that good, And at the very end, Hangman, who's known for leaving you hanging, that's his whole gimmick. That's why they call him Hangman. It has nothing to do with... Don't worry, guys. It has nothing to do with the peace symbol. It's got nothing to do with the Hanging Man symbology or the tarot card. Nothing to do with that. So don't worry. He's just Hangman because he leaves you hanging. That's his gimmick. Anyway, he subverts the gimmick by saving Maverick and the other dude at the very end. And he ends up saving him. It's like, whoa, Hangman did it. He's not a bad guy after all. Wow. And to me, it's just insane that Tom Cruise just did it all. He did it all, baby, by himself, pretty much. And the young blood, well, I guess the boomers got to die first because that's just the way the world's going right now. But it got me thinking about this generational problem. The boomers, who are just right now they're the biggest generation in every country. By the way, the Eastern world or the Western world, Asia. The boomer generation is just the biggest demographic still. It's really obvious in movies like Jurassic World, where these older actors just won't step aside. They got to be in everything. And I don't know if it's and I know a lot of it has to do with recognition, right? Oh, look at Jeff Goldblum. He's back in Jurassic World. Wow. Look at Tom Cruise. Wow, he's back. He's the best of the best of the best of the best. Ain't nobody better than Tom Cruise, man. Hocus Pocus 2. Saw that movie recently. It was trash. Don't bother watching it. But it's interesting because it's suffering from the same problem that the movies I just mentioned are suffering from, which is a case of these old actors who just need to retire and go away. They need to piss off. Because Hocus Pocus 2 could have been really good. Aside from the blatant product placement, it could have been really, really good because it started on a really good foot. It started off as a flashback with Sanderson sisters as young girls who were being chased out by the village people. Not the group, but the people in the village of Salem, or whatever town it is. I think it's Salem. I'm pretty sure it's Salem. But I'm a big fan of the first movie, guys. So I really like Hocus Pocus 1. It's a really good movie. It's always fun to watch. It's got crazy symbology in that too. Maybe I'll talk about it sometime. But it started off strong and fell apart because they could have made the whole movie about the Sanderson sisters as young girls becoming witches, and they didn't do that. They had to include the old actors or the old actresses because they can't just let go, right? They just can't let go. Alright guys, I think that just about covers it. I just wanted to talk about the synchronicities I had along with the movies that I watched. Touched a little bit about the generational issues we're having. This proclivity of boomers just not stepping aside for new talent, new blood, a new generation. They just won't do it. They just won't do it. Y'all have a nice day, guys. Bye-bye.